The People's Court, today at 4:30.
I'm sorry. That's just the way it has to be. We have no choice. So please accept it and try to understand.
Understand? This is insane. You're trying to take me to a country I've never even heard of before, asking me to help in a political struggle I know and care nothing about.
Our country is in deep trouble, Jody. We are desperate. You have to come with us to Eden. You have no other choice.
We're leaving in the morning. We've made the plans. We're not going to change them. We've come too far. We will not turn back now.
You have to turn back, or you're going to be in worse trouble than you've ever dreamed of. What you're doing is kidnapping, a very serious crime in this country.
We'll have to take our chances with the laws in your country to save our own.
Look, I'm really very sorry if you and your people are in trouble. But you cannot rob me of my freedom. What you're trying to do is force me to give up my life, my family, my friends, my job. You can't ask me to do something like that.
Please understand.
No, you understand. You're not going to get me as far as the corner, let alone out of the country. Because right now, my family is worried about me. They reported me missing. And before you can say goodbye, the city of Monticello will be swarming with people looking for me.
We'll have to take that chance.
Well, then you're crazy, both of you. All right. Look, you do seem really very nice, and I'm sure you mean well. But what if you did manage to get me into your country? How in heaven's name do you think I am going to be able to help you, even if I wanted to?
You will, when you see what's happening in our country and to our people.
The criminals who now have control of Eden have made fools of the entire world. When you see the evil and the corruption for yourself, you'll want to join us, Jody.
No. And why me? Simply because by sheer coincidence, I have a portrait that looks like your famous martyr? What does it have to do with me?
Well, maybe if I give you some background. Viva and I were recruited for this job when we were students at Monticello University. We're only two of a small group who's trying to rid our country of this gangster government. It's a tyranny, Jody. But such a subtle one, and so quietly corrupt that very few people notice it. They don't even know it exists. We've tried to tell the world, but the world just laughs and turns away.
We want to rally our people to make them throw out the gangsters and their puppets.
Jody, there's a heroine in our history. A beloved martyr who gave her life to save our country. We want to make her live again.
Well, that's great. But I have nothing to do with your martyr.
But you do!
Don't you know that you're her descendant, just as your mother was?
The Edge of Night is brought to you by Pampers. America's mothers trust their babies to Pampers Dryness. And by All Temperature Cheer, tough on dirt in today's cooler temperatures.
You know how your mother feels about school night dates.
This isn't a date, Graham. We're just studying.
Okay.
Great. Now we gotta wash my pink painter's pants.
I thought this wasn't a date. You get just as dirty now as ever.
I'll croak if they don't get clean. We better use real hot water.
They say wash and warm.
But they're filthy.
Relax. This all-temperature cheer is special. You don't need to use hot water to get things clean. Cheer's made to be tough in any temperature, even warm and cold.
Positive?
Positive. For someone who's just going to study, you're awfully nervous.
These look terrific, Graham. Thanks. He's here. I'm gonna croak.
All temperature cheer. Tough on dirt, even in cooler water. All temperature.
I'm savings director of the McBride family. My job is to stop waste. Like cutting off the outlaws of the past when no one's watching. Tough job, because I want what's right for my family. That means cushion quilted Pampers. I've tried bargain brands. Pampers help keep my Sally a lot drier. And dryness is what I want for my baby.
Look, wet a Pampers and the average bargain brand. Wait a minute. Slip in a blotter. Pampers cushion quilted lining helps keep babies a lot drier.
Howdy.
Daddy!
On this ranch, sheriffs wear hats. Deputies wear Pampers.
They sure help keep her drier.
Cushion quilted Pampers helps keep a little baby a lot drier.
Hello, Mrs. Saxon.
Well, I must say I'm surprised to see you here, Spencer, especially considering the recent events in this house.
I'm sorry if I'm disturbing you, but I'd like to speak with Mrs. Whitney, if I may. It's a business matter.
Very well, if you must. Raven, we have a visitor.
Since when do ex-butlers come visiting?
I'm sorry if you feel I'm intruding on your privacy, Mrs. Whitney, but there are one or two
Under the
things...
circumstances, I am not feeling very hospitable, so I will not ask you to sit down. However, I will ask you, what the hell are you doing here?
Mr. Whitney has made me his business manager. And
Business manager? My, we're coming up in the world from general flunky to business manager of Schuyler Whitney's business affairs.
Raven, you do well to curb your sarcasm and listen to what Spencer has to say.
Oh, I'm very interested in what Spencer has to say. You have the floor, Spencer.
I only came to tell you that Mr. Whitney has asked me to handle the matter of, well, the matters concerning the transfer of assets. I've come to discuss a starting point.
So you've come to throw me out of the house, huh?
I'm only interested in a calm and orderly transfer of the estate, for both your sake and Mr. Whitney's. Hopefully we can accomplish that without too much fuss, very little litigation, with a minimum number of attorneys. I'm sure we can accomplish that with your cooperation.
Oh, I see. So all you want from me is my cooperation.
Spencer is quite right. This whole thing should be handled simply and quietly, with as little publicity as possible.
And by cooperation, I assume you mean that you want me to go upstairs immediately and pack all my things and then get out of the house.
No, of course not. And I'm sure Mr. Whitney had no such thing in mind either. However, as you can imagine, he is rather anxious to settle this affair, and if I may take the liberty of offering some advice, the sooner that Mr. Whitney is in possession of what is rightfully his, the less time he'll have to think about retribution. I hope I made myself clear.
You have, Spencer, and rightly so. I see no need to incur his anger by dragging this thing on any longer. Raven, you are not in a position to make any demands in this situation. Spencer can make things very difficult for you in any number of ways, legal and otherwise. So the best thing for you to do is to accept the situation for your own welfare.
Welfare? That's exactly where I'm going to end up.
Oh, stop that nonsense. And another thing, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Spencer, I believe I can assure you, we'll be out of this house within the week.
It's so nice to have you all to myself for this kind of a late supper party.
It's my pleasure. So what'd you think of the newscast tonight?
Well, I didn't care very much for the news, but I was crazy about the commentator.
Well, I'm glad it's not the other way around.
Would you care for some dessert this evening?
Oh, no, thank you. Oh, did you want
Well,
some?
no, not at all. I'll do without. It's all right.
Sorry.
What's the matter with you? You counting calories?
No. I just don't want to wait for it.
Why are you in a hurry?
Because, frankly, I'm anxious to get home before Jody goes to bed because I want to hear what she found out about the portrait.
She might have found nothing out. Frankly, I think that message she got was some kind of a joke. I think somebody was teasing her.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Can you imagine somebody going to all the trouble of cutting out all those little letters and pasting them together for a message? I mean, who would do something like that?
Somebody who does not want to have his handwriting recognized. Come on, it was a joke.
A joke? I don't get it. What's the point?
Well, who knows?
Well, I'm glad she made Cliff go with her anyway. I don't trust anything that's sent anonymously. You never know what kind of nut may have sent it.
There's a phone call for you, Mrs. Cavanaugh.
Good heavens.
Your housekeeper, I believe.
Oh, I hope Adam's all right. Hello, Mrs. Goodman?
Yeah, Mrs. C. I'm sorry to interrupt your dinner like this.
Oh, that's all right. Is Adam okay?
Oh, no, he's fine. I was just wondering if Jody happens to be at the restaurant with you and the doc there.
No, she's not. I assume she'd be home by now since it's almost midnight.
No, she isn't. Well, I tried calling her at that hangout of hers, you know, Sid's Tavern. And the lady said that she'd been in there earlier, but that she'd been gone for hours.
Well, oh, don't worry about it, Mrs. Goodman. She probably went to a late movie or something. We'll be home shortly, okay? All righty. Bye-bye. Oh, Miles. Jody's not home yet. I don't like the sound of
Don't
that.
worry about it now. She's big enough to take care of herself, really.
No, but we don't know anything about the person she was supposed to meet at that bookshop.
I'm sure there's no cause for us to be concerned. After all, Cliff Nelson went with her.
Well, at least she said he was going to go with her.
Oh, boy. This is like a bad dream, you know? Now you're trying to make me believe that this woman you talk about, this martyr of Eden, was my ancestor.
We're telling you the truth, Jody. You are a descendant of this lady. There's no question about it.
Well, then don't you think I would know that? My mother never said a word about the family coming from Eden. I've never even heard of the place until a few days ago.
Maybe your mother didn't know about it herself. Maybe nobody told her about her family history. But if not, why would she have kept the portrait?
Maybe she did know and didn't want to burden you with it. It's a great responsibility.
No, frankly, my mother and I were never really very close. But even so, she would have left some record of this thing, if any of it were true.
Maybe the portrait was her record.
We are sure of one thing, Jody. You are her descendant. The resemblance is no coincidence. Look, Marie Bonaventure.
I do one thing. I race to win. And at 250 miles per hour, I have to concentrate on being the best. Just like Kentucky Fried Chicken. They concentrate on chicken, cooked up fresh to split-second timing with the Colonel's special touch. That's how Kentucky Fried Chicken got to be #1. And it tastes so good.
It's the only time Mom's never in a hurry to finish first.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Why is Wayne Rogers making house calls on Dinah Shore? Inquiring minds want to know.
I want to know.
What royal secrets are revealed about England's billion-dollar baby? This week's National Enquirer tells you. What's the wrong and right way to feed your dog? Why do experts believe we can talk to the dead? It's in the Enquirer. Did Elvis take drugs because he had cancer? It's our book bonus in the Enquirer. Over 100 features for people with inquiring minds.
Like me?
Yes, it makes perfect sense, Jody. Why else would your mother have kept this portrait of Marie Bonaventure?
Why was it in her possession when she died? And how did she get it in the first place?
And why are you so interested in keeping it?
I'm interested in keeping it because it belonged to my mother. Maybe I was sentimental. Or vain, if you like, because yes, there is a slight resemblance between me and the woman in the portrait. But whatever you call it, it's just a complete coincidence. Can't you see that?
But that's what we're trying to make you understand, that it is not a coincidence.
All right. All right, let's just suppose that what you're telling me is true, that I am in some way related to this woman. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. Why should it? I was born in America. So was my mother. What does it matter who our ancestors were?
It might not have mattered at all if our country hadn't fallen into the hands of these greedy animals. But it did. So we need you now as a symbol for our nation's freedom. That's why you're so important to us now.
You know, this portrait is important to somebody else, too. Dwight and Grace Endicott.
You seem to have an inordinate thirst tonight, Father.
Who's counting?
I am. It's your fourth.
For God's sake, Grace, don't nag. You know how I hate it. You sound exactly like your mother. Not a particularly welcome echo, I might add. Anyway, what difference does it make?
Not to me. It's just going to make a difference to you tomorrow morning when you wake up.
I feel the need of relaxation tonight, that's all.
Why particularly tonight?
I'm annoyed. I don't like late callers.
Well, why did you agree to see him tonight? Why couldn't you see him tomorrow?
Because he said it was important, that's why.
Mr. Endicott. Mr. Ronaldo.
How do you do, sir?
How do you do? My daughter, Grace.
Oh, it's a very great pleasure, my dear. Mr. Endicott, do you suppose I might speak to you privately?
If you'll excuse us, Grace.
I'm
yes,
so sorry
absolutely.
to interrupt, Mr. Endicott, but
No.
there is no reason to burden you with trifling business matters.
No, it's fine.
I'd rather you stayed, Joseph.
Yes, of course you may stay, Joseph.
Sit down, won't you?
Thank you, yes.
A drink?
No, thank you. Unlike yourself, sir, I never indulge you.
Then perhaps we can get to the point of this visit. You indicated it was important.
Oh, yes. Well, first of all, I bring you a greeting from our friends from abroad.
Very kind, I'm sure.
Yeah. They wish you very well. I hope that you will enjoy your trip.
My trip? I'm not planning any trip.
Oh, but you are. You see, they are most anxious to see you as quickly as possible. They could not come here to see you. It is a matter of affairs of state, shall we say. They could not make the journey here. They asked me to extend the invitation for you to join them there. Well, I take it you do not object to making a flying trip, eh?
Now, see here. I can't possibly just pick up and take off all at once at a moment like this. I can't possibly leave here right now. There are half a dozen things that need my attention.
Pardon me, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Endicott, but I must tell you that this is a matter of time, is of no small importance. In fact, as they say, it is a matter of extreme urgency.
What do they want? What's so urgent?
Well, as I understand it, there are certain things they would like to discuss with you. Things they hope that you can clarify.
Things? What things?
There have been some ugly rumors about two very unpleasant, or shall we say, unfortunate circumstances. Two violent deaths.
If only you could hear what people think. Like to be her pen pal.
Nice. Too bad he's scratching his head. Could be dandruff. Sure get a lot of junk mail.
That little itch could be showing people you have dandruff. But Head & Shoulders handles that itch, so all it shows is hair that's soft and shiny clean.
Well, 3A? Oh, 3B.
Try Head & Shoulders shampoo and show off your hair, not the itch of dandruff, in regular and conditioning formulas.
Long distance, Aunt Claire.
I'm an aunt. Oh, let me turn this off. Oh, bye. You're an uncle.
A hungry one.
The chicken, must have soaked up a lot of oil.
Won't it taste greasy?
Well, I used Crisco oil. Let's see.
Looks good, huh?
Good. It's fantastic. How do you know about Crisco oil?
Aunts know these things.
Crisco oil with no cholesterol makes fried foods that taste delicious, not greasy.
Nefertiti.
Cleopatra! Right! Oh, you're good at charades, Pam.
And now she's great at coffee.
Great coffee is easy, Mrs. Olson. You said Folgers would prove it.
Sure, Folgers is different. A special blend. Best I've tasted. Mountain grown? That means great flavor because it's the richest kind of coffee.
Honey?
Sounds like more Folgers coffee.
Great coffee's easy, and mountain-grown Folgers proves it.
Well, Spencer, I must say that you have made things very clear this evening with your usual calm detachment. And, you know, I've always wanted to say this to you. I find your cool control extremely irritating.
I'm sorry if you feel that way.
Oh, you are not. You could care less. All you want is for me to get out of the house so Skylar Whitney can come here and play king of the castle.
Mrs. Whitney, it isn't that at all.
It is so. You just want me to make it easy for your new boss, otherwise he's going to make it very difficult for me. Now, isn't that right? And I think it's blackmail.
Oh, Raven, please.
No, it is. That's the only way to look at it.
It's not that at all. Mrs. Whitney, surely you can understand how frustrating it's been for Mr. Whitney to know his own identity for all this time and to not be recognized for it. Well, now that that's happened, of course he wants to make up for lost time, pick up his life as an active and productive human being. If I may say so, he's not asking for anything that isn't due to him.
And you're certainly reaping a few benefits of your own, aren't you, darling?
I'm happy to be employed, yes.
You intend to staff the house then, Spencer?
I'm sure we will, Mrs. Saxon, but I was wondering if you had thought about what you might do.
Oh, I think we'll do very nicely, I can assure you. Raven, of course, will be with me. She was kind enough to include me as her guest here, and so I'll be very happy to return the favor.
Oh, no, not the Monticello arms again.
Perhaps, we'll see.
So, Spencer, you're going to staff the house, are you?
Yes.
Well, since you're going to be so heavily burdened with your new job as business manager, who is going to be the manservant for the new Skylar Whitney?
Mr. Whitney has already taken care of that himself.
baby. Have another drink. It'll cheer you up.
No, thanks, Eddie. It's going to take more than another double scotch to make me feel better.
Will you relax? I especially picked this restaurant because it's dark. Nobody's even going to notice you got a few black and blues.
Yeah, that was really thoughtful.
And besides, come on. Black and blues or not, you're still the best-looking chick in town, right?
Is that why you did it?
Now, look, give me a break, will you? I said I'm sorry.
Are you really?
Let me explain something to you, will you? You know, when I was a kid, my old man used to hit the juice pretty good. Anybody getting his way when he was drinking was in big trouble. My mother usually got the brunt of it. I'll never forget one night. It was my 12th birthday. My mother baked a cake and had some of the kids in from the neighborhood, you know. And we had a real party, candles and all. The best night of my life. Just as the party was breaking up, my old man came home. Of course, the supper wasn't ready because Mama was busy baking the cake and playing with the kids and everything. So he started to smack her around. Well, I grabbed a brand new baseball bat. I just couldn't stand it no more, and I picked that bat up. And I swung it as hard as I could with every inch of strength of my body. And it cracked across his back. Something broke, and I knew it wasn't the bat. My father spent the rest of his life in a wheelchair. But you know something? I could swear my mother was happy. Because now she could love him and take care of him. And he couldn't hurt her no more, you understand? That night, my father taught me the greatest lesson of my life. Anybody tries to hurt you, you grab a bat, you get a knife, you get a gun. And they don't hurt you no more, you understand? Now, I thought you were trying to hurt me, Poppy. I did the only thing that I know how to do. I'm sorry, kid, I'm sorry.
Endicott said he was your boss, Eddie. And I never told him anything that was important.
Listen, I can forget about it, right? I can make bygones be bygones. Why can't you do the same thing?
Well, what's gonna happen now? If I go on working for you and Endicott keeps after me.
Look, I told you don't have to worry about Endicott ever again. He's not gonna hurt nobody. I took care of him. The funny part about it is, I didn't even need a bat.
Roaches all over the kitchen!
Fleas all over the living room. What do you do for large rooms?
Quick, get Black Flag, room fogger. Covers a 33% larger area than the leading fogger. Automatically kills flying insects, crawling insects.
All clear in the kitchen!
All clear in the living room.
Black Flag large area room fogger or twin pack for smaller rooms. Kills a large room full of bugs automatically.
Go out in this weather and not use Adorn? That could be very tacky.
I like Adorn for what it doesn't do. It doesn't feel tacky.
Adorn has an exclusive moisture-resistant formula that holds style in while keeping moisture out, so you get long-lasting hold without that sticky feeling.
I'll tell you why I like Adorn. I hate tacky.
Long-lasting Adorn. There's nothing tacky about it.
On One Life to Live.
I'm offering you the rest of my life.
On your terms.
If you give me a no on this, I'm going to pack up, and I promise you, you'll never see me around here again.
One Life to Live. Weekdays.
You haven't seen her since then, Sid? Oh, boy. No, it's not important. No, well, she's probably home by now. Yeah, all right. Yes, Sid, thanks a lot. Yeah, goodbye.
Well, what'd she say about Cliff?
She said that Jody had supper with Mitzi and Cliff, but she left without him.
Oh.
Cliff and Mitzi left on their own.
Oh, God. Now I really am worried. Mouse, where do you suppose she is?
Oh, for heaven's sakes, please, just let me go home. I promise if you let me go now, you won't be in any trouble.
I'm sorry, Jody. We don't mean to frighten you, and we're sorry if you're unhappy. But we're asking you to help us, please. Don't you understand? We're begging you to help us.
I'm telling you for the last time, I cannot do what you want me to do. I can't help you.
Jody, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. You have a chance to save a country, to change history.
Look, I don't want to change anything. All I want to do is go home.
You are going home. On an airplane to Eden at 9:30 tomorrow morning.
No comment, please, Grace.
I have none. I just have one question. Who was that man who came here tonight, Mr. Reynaldo?
A messenger.
What did he want?
He wanted to deliver an invitation, a royal command, you might say. I have some packing to do tonight, my dear. I'm taking a plane, first thing tomorrow morning, to that earthly paradise, the beautiful land of Eden.
Romance can take you many places, but only so far. Beautiful as it is, it has limits. But desire starts where romance leaves off and bursts into something beyond. Something Silhouette Books now captures in a startling new series about love. Silhouette Desire. Beyond romance, where the possibilities are limited only by your imagination. Silhouette Desire.
Since 1974, chicken is up 24%.
That's for the birds.
Fish, 84%.
That's a lot of clams.
Hamburger, 64%. In today's economy, you need the strength of Ziploc freezer bags. With their unique seal, Ziploc freezer bags are a zip to lock, and they stay locked for the best protection against freezer burn. Pork chops are up 36%. Even if they're pork chops. Ziploc freezer bags. There's no better way to protect your investment.
Roommates dream up a wild way to rescue Furley from a female fortune hunter on Three's Company. Then Henry thinks his visitors are terrorists when he finds guns in the apartment, and that's too close for comfort. After the mysterious disappearance of a friend draws the hearts into a deadly game of hide and seek. Heart to Heart tonight on ABC.